the young and the restless. Connor Newman had always been perceptive for his age, but recently, the changes in his mother, Chelsea, had become impossible to ignore. As a young boy, he had struggled with OCD, a condition that once consumed his life with fears and rituals. But with time, therapy, and the unwavering support of his family, Connor had grown stronger, learning to manage his anxiety and embrace a new sense of normalcy. Now, as a teenager, Connor found himself facing a different kind of challenge. The vibrant, carefree mother he once knew was slipping away, replaced by a woman burdened with heartache and despair. Chelsea's breakup with Billy Abbott had left her shattered, and no matter how hard she tried to hide it, Connor could see the pain in her eyes, the sadness that seemed to follow her like a shadow. It wasn't just the breakup that troubled Connor. He had noticed something else, something more alarming. Chelsea's health was deteriorating. She was often exhausted, her skin pale, and her movements slow. At first, Connor thought it was just the stress of the breakup, but then he discovered something that made his heart race with worry. His mother was pregnant, and she hadn't told anyone, not even Billy. Connor wasn't sure how to handle this revelation. He was still just a kid, after all, but he also knew he had to do something. Chelsea's growing sadness and declining health worried him, and he couldn't stand the thought of her going through this alone. He realized that he had to step up, to be the adult in this situation, even if it was daunting. Billy Abbott had always been a complicated figure in Connor's life. There were times when he resented Billy for not being the father figure he wanted, but he also knew how much his mother loved him. Connor had seen the way Chelsea's eyes lit up when Billy was around, how she smiled more easily and seemed genuinely happy. That's why their breakup had hit her so hard. It wasn't just the loss of a relationship, it was the loss of a future she had dared to dream about. With all this weighing on his mind, Connor made a decision that would change everything. He couldn't sit back and do nothing while his mother suffered. He needed to confront Billy, to tell him the truth, even if it meant stepping into a world of adult problems that he barely understood. The day Connor decided to talk to Billy, he felt a mix of determination and fear. He wasn't sure how Billy would react, but he knew it was the right thing to do. When he arrived at Billy's place, his heart was pounding in his chest. It took all his courage to knock on the door. Billy answered, surprised to see Connor standing there alone. "Connor? What's up, buddy? Everything okay?" Connor hesitated for a moment, but then he took a deep breath and said, "I need to talk to you, Uncle Billy. It's about my mom." Billy's expression grew serious. He could see the concern in Connor's eyes, and it made his own heart skip a beat. "What is it, Connor? Is your mom okay?" Connor nodded, but his eyes were filled with worry. She's not okay, Uncle Billy. She's really sad because you broke up with her. She loves you a lot, you know? But that's not all." His voice trembled as he added, "She's pregnant, Uncle Billy. My mom's having a baby, and she hasn't told anyone. Not even you." Billy felt as though the ground had shifted beneath him. He stared at Connor, trying to process the words. Pregnant? Chelsea was pregnant, and she hadn't said a word? A flood of emotions surged through him, shock, confusion, guilt, and something else, something deeper that he couldn't quite name. "Connor, are you sure about this?" Billy asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Connor nodded. "I heard her talking on the phone, setting up doctor's appointments and stuff. She didn't want me to know, but I figured it out. She's really upset, Uncle Billy. She thinks you don't want to be with her anymore." Billy's mind was spinning. How could Chelsea keep something like this from him? How could she go through this all alone? The idea that she had been carrying this secret, suffering in silence, made his heart ache with regret. Connor's eyes filled with tears as he continued, "Please, Uncle Billy, don't let my mom go through this by herself. She needs you. The baby needs you. I know you guys broke up, but maybe you could forgive her? Maybe you could still be together?" Billy was overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation. Connor, a child who had already been through so much, was now standing before him, pleading for his mother's happiness. It was a moment that forced Billy to confront his own feelings, his own failures, and the consequences of his actions. Billy knelt down to Connor's level, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Connor, I'm so sorry you've had to deal with all of this. You've been really brave, and I'm proud of you for telling me. I promise you, I'll talk to your mom. I'll figure this out, okay?